Hi, this is Kendra over at Pencil and Pigment, and today I wanted to talk to you about sort of a really quick, easy fix storage solution and show you the main bulk of my art supplies that I use, and just a teeny tiny office tour, if you will. My office is sort of split use, but for right now, what I have that is my main holder of all my supplies is an IKEA double door cabinet, and well, everything fits fine. It's IKEA. I don't think it holds up with places of high moisture in the air. It's looking a little worse for wear. Plus, we have it earthquake proofed, so we're constantly putting holes in it, making sure it's attached to the wall and stuff every time we move, which we're done with now, so that's great. But let me give you the quick little tour. So the top shelf has a little Wacom that I have. I don't use it as much as I should, but that's kind of how that goes. My pottery supplies, a lot of my fixatives and sealants, and then hard drives. I have a GoPro and not enough software to utilize that properly, but there's a bunch of the GoPro equipment. The second shelf houses a bunch of workbooks and paper for commissions and different projects on one side, and then the other side is finished projects that I'm keeping. So I've done signs for communities and stuff, and I have templates and things in case things are graffitied or sprayed upon, and some of the finished artworks for my Etsy shop, and some art pieces that are to be auctioned for donation for the Black Lives Matter. And I just have this things I'm keeping. I don't keep a ton, obviously. I just don't have the storage for it. I kind of use this cabinet as my guide. So if it doesn't fit in the cabinet, I don't keep it. I either gift it or use it for projects, and then I'm done with it. This cabinet could look like a lot, and it could not look like a lot, depending on, it's subjective. So I mean, some artists keep a ton and some keep nothing. This is as minimalist as I could do. The next shelf houses sort of my stamps and washi tape, pens, things for shipping and labels, some business cards. Basically, that keeps all that in line. And then here is a lot of my pens, most of my pens and pencils. And what I did was I started just collecting jars that we were getting rid of in our recycle, and it became just a really easy, quick way to organize. So I have jams, jellies, marinara, canning jars, spaghetti sauce, pickles, applesauce. I just started saving those jars, and I found, for me personally, that it's much easier to organize by type than it is by color, because I know what certain pens are capable of doing with certain projects, and so it's easier for me just to grab one cup. Oh, hey, these can go over watercolor, or hey, these are all my colored pencils, versus I just need chartreuse things. So I have my metallics, and these are the Japanese Uniball Signo, and I go through these. I mean, if you're going to start a project, they utilize these by backups. Here are currently the bulk of my colored pencils. These are the Faber-Castell Polychromos, and I like them. They have vegetable oil, so they're really creamy. I have a bunch of just pencils, like everything from 4H to 10B, those types of drawing pencils. Here is the Copic multi-liner plus friends. These are sort of the permanent We have Posca, an alcohol Sharpie. These are ones that can go on really slick surfaces and be fine. In the back are all my General's chalk pencil. These are all my Pilot pens, and I use these way more than I ever thought I would, but they come in such a wide range of bright colors that I'm able to keep those in my collection because I use them. And if I didn't use them, I would just end up giving them to my kids. These are my Micron and my Jelly Roll. This is an old cup that we don't really use teeny tiny cups anymore. So here's another one. These are pretty much fine liners that are all black, that are one-offs from different companies that I've either received samples or I bought to try a different type or kind. In the back, ooh, that's kind of hard to see. I have a lot of brush pens. So Tombow, some other Japanese ones, where you can change the cartridges out. Things like this. Ooh, let's see if I can get them out. This guy right here, and I have him in white, and he has little cartridges. But brush pens are really fun for hand lettering, calligraphy, and drawing. I have a small collection of Copic Chows, which is an alcohol marker. I don't like them. I have pens I hate. Probably because I'm just not good at using them. That's probably what it is. And then partly because they're just not light fast. So like if I go to create something with them, I'll gift it to my kids. I don't feel comfortable giving somebody a piece of art that isn't light fast. Like it's gonna fade. And I just don't think that's great. So I'll either scan it and upload it and put it somewhere else for a different project, or it's just to study. But alcohol markers stink and they're expensive and they're not light fast. So I don't understand the fuss, but that's probably just because I don't know how to use them. And then I have Sharpies, which I had for shipping and labels and stuff, but I don't care for Sharpie. Sorry, Sharpie. The next shelf is the bulk of my watercolor supplies and my travel watercolor supplies. This is everything I use, from my pans to my tubes to my watercolor pencils. The next set of jars, which you can see, like Apple. This is something from a thrift store. Paint brushes. This is a lot of my ink pens. I made a folded pen out of a LaCroix and put it on a Le Pen. The irony isn't missed. I have all my erasers in a jar. I have this style of jar for my sharps. These are my blades. I have tons of different types of blades for my X-Acto knife. And these are just journals I'm currently in for projects and my chalk pastels. The next shelf is predominantly for, these are finished little magazines I made that I was selling on my Etsy shop. I have paper samples and postcards and things where I was trying to support artists during the pandemic, and I was buying their little stuff that they were selling for that. Plus, I mean, buying postcards and helping the post office. It's a win-win right there. So I keep a bunch of that stuff right there. And then my ribbon, my silk ribbon for tutorials and stuff. These are just finished. These are the paints and the stuff I use for Game of Shrooms. Plus there's a bunch of stuff for stamps and fabric, and I use that with my kids for projects. So that's what that stuff is. Here are other prints that I sell, other projects I've made. There's my mermaid trading cards that I also have in a safe spot. So that's where I keep those. And then the last shelf is acrylic. So you can see these huge pickle jars. I use a plexiglass palette and all my different finishes and gessos. little pottery, and then this is the rest of my camera equipment that I keep protected on the bottom shelf. So this is predominantly everything. I have a little tiny, like a small dresser that I keep shipping envelopes and gift bags and things in just for shipping, and that's it. But yeah, a really simple way to organize and keep your stuff together that's budget, it's free, is just save your jars. It saves recycle can space, and if you ever don't need one, they're easy to pass on for other projects, and you can move to something bigger down the road. But yeah, that was just a quick little storage solution instead of buying tons of sort of those plastic acrylic dividers, which I'm trying to be more mindful and not buy as much plastic. I guess the only caveat would be that glass is heavier. So just make sure whatever you are storing your glass jars in is bolted if you live in an earthquake area, because it's heavier. All right, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And oh, it's Friday. Happy Friday. Woo! Okay, have a happy Friday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.